Despite my complaints about the movie releases that it's bringing along, I'm actually having quite a lot of fun this summer. Going outdoors, giving tribute to my ancestors by firing up the grill, going to a park and watching people without sunblock spontaneously combust. All good times. And as far as content consumption goes, the car YouTuber scene is really hot. I never did finish Fallout 4 to my satisfaction, and there's an almost infinite backlog of old television to rewatch. One of my favorites around this time of year is Miami Vice. It's difficult to overstate the influence that creator Anthony Yerkovich and executive producer Michael Mann have had on culture through Miami Vice. Its use of pop music alongside Jan Hammer's synth-laden soundtrack and Mann's directive of no earth tones provided it with a unique look and feel that remains influential to this day. Don't believe me? What's the image that you have of Miami? Is it Vice City or GTA 6? Miami Vice inspired. The vibrant, incredibly moneyed Art Deco paradise of Miami Beach? Basically as old and derelict as Robocop's Detroit before Vice. Production would actually refurbish buildings just enough to get them to look $1 million, which is just as well as that's about what an episode cost. Mind, those are $1986, from the time where this whole Cadillac was $20,000. Is it Scarface? Okay, that one preceded Vice, you get that one. But Vice typified its aesthetic as the definitive one for the whole decade. In November 1981, Time magazine ran a cover article detailing the general awfulness of Miami and how it had evolved into a decaying town, a town slowly sinking under rampant crime and with a population under siege. By the time Miami Vice's finale was broadcast, there was no need to create sets that looked like $1 million, but as Miami City was growing up, Miami Vice was going down. I've seen the whole show and, at no risk of ruffling any feathers, I can confidently say that most of what made it a beloved show is firmly contained within its first 2 seasons. Season 3 still had quite a lot of winners, including an absolute gut-wrencher of a 2-parter, but it's around there that things started to go wrong. Don Johnson pushed for a substantial salary increase and delayed filming. Michael Mann fucked off to direct another of his excellent movies, and left most of the showrunning to producer Dick Wolf. Yes, that one. Let's see what he thinks of the older and currently acclaimed episodes.
The reason that I was brought in, again, was just for the writing, that there were no stories. They were, remember the second season of Vice, it had very weird stuff. It was almost totally non-linear. You'd watch an episode and, huh?
To make matters worse, CBS moves the show to compete with Dallas. This works about as well as trying to cure backache by getting hit with a cane and causes the ratings of both shows to go down. Something needed to be done for season 4. Unfortunately, what was done was create some of the worst episodes of the entire show. Mann will not avail us this time either. His name is still there as executive producer, but he is busier than ever helming another very good but decidedly less influential TV show. In hindsight, things really seem to be going off the rails while he's out. The budget is higher than ever if an Associated Press article is to be believed at around $2 million an episode. And for all that money, season 4 still has the only clip show in the entire series. Not to mention episodes like the one with the insane televangelist, the one with the cryogenically frozen reggae artist, the one with the tiny cows, oh god, the one with the tiny cows, and the one we're about to take a look at, Missing Hours. The premise here? Miami Vice tackles UFOs. I don't need to say anything more, do I? Let's dive right in. We don't even make it a minute when this episode already has warning signs all over it. Easy and Noogie. The sometimes informants of the Vice Department that are best enjoyed by themselves and in very, very small doses. Having Noogie here is especially worrisome because the last time we saw him was back in season 2.
That's much better. Practice make perfect. A little faster, you be down with the noogie woogie on down, you understand?
And you can see why. They're here, actually have no idea why they're here. These two are supposed to be informants, but this operation has been going on for months. They already know the guy they're busting. This one, over here. Why bring 2 liabilities in? And sure enough, someone in the crowd notices the 2 particularly lazy cosplayers and reacts accordingly.
Get to the part about the money. The Noog man's got plans for the evening, and he needs his cash money dollar bill.
Payment? How about not going to jail for deciding to pickpocket people while literally being surrounded by cops? They should count themselves lucky that the police have more important things to worry about right now. This little incident didn't just ruin months of police work, it also seems to have shaken up Detective Trudy. It seems rather odd with her being an experienced vice cop, but nobody's infallible. That being said, having a picture of a boat and a shitload of peanut butter as your only possessions is weird, but not really illegal. And nevertheless, she seems quite intrigued by this, enough to shun actual police work and investigate the boat in the guy's photo. Yeah, I have weekends like that. Still being about 15 years away from CSI, Trudy touches Ayari in the peanut butter summoning circle and things get weird. Thankfully, the commercial break brings us back to reality. I guess that the team knew they needed to tell the audience what the fuck was going on before they lose any more of them.
I'm sorry about your husband.
Thank you, but we've been apart for 2 years since the night they took us.
Somebody took you?
Yesterday I got word from Afterlife that Lonnie had been found. We keep in touch about the missing ones, and I came straight to Miami.
You know, I don't get why the alien abduction portion of Miami Vice doesn't get talked about when praising the show. To recap, a guy freaks out because he sees someone dressed like a particularly lazy B-movie fan, crashes through a window and has a heart attack, and in less than 24 hours, a group of people who believe in alien abductions has found out about this, checked their database, contacted the wife of the guy, the wife who hasn't seen him for 2 years, and gets her on a plane to Miami. The police department haven't even started the autopsy yet. Actually, we should probably check on that one.
I'm sorry.
Well, that's just great. Now we have a missing corpse. There's no other leads, and we're missing the police officer that signed for the release of the body. What do we do? Officer Chris Rock, please, get us out of this mire through the miracle of technology.
You guys showed up on the Star Chaser bulletin board last night.
You said we showed up.
Well, only Trudy did. See, this bulletin board is for people that study ufology. Last night it was buzzing about how Trudy found this guy Akers from the famous Elko abductions. See, these two couples...
I feel good. Da-na-na-na-na-na. Hi, guys. Go about what you're doing. Is my slip showing or what?
I hope police officers with amnesia going back to Police HQ doesn't become a recurring theme in this department.
Look, I was at a disco last night with Lou.
But I bet you can't tell me the name of the disco, where it was located, how it was decorated, or what you had to drink.
I remember it happening.
This woman just went on the trip of a fucking lifetime. I don't know about y'all, but if I met James Brown and was already tripping balls, you bet I wouldn't remember anything that happened on the next day and a half. Best of all, he's a professional at this. Trudy's still seeing flying PB&Js while the Godfather is back at the grind on corporate speaking engagements. And he even has perfectly reasonable alibis for when the cops come knocking.
There are a lot of friends I have of female persuasion.
Why would you lie about such a thing?
Hey, Trudy, back up. Think of me, same as last night, on the houseboat.
Ha! How could he know he was the houseboat? Arrest this man. I bet you'll find enough drugs to kill Timothy Leary in the trunk of his car.
The address is not on Trudy's report, and the officers he thinks he sent on the call swear they were having coffee and donuts with Mamie Van Doren. I didn't make that up.
I believe you. That'd be a pretty fucked up thing to make up, let alone conceive and turn into an hour-long teleplay. But this means we're out of options again. Officer Chris Rock, quick, get us out of this mess.
Hey, why don't you guys try Rona Akers? Maybe she knows about her husband's houseboat.
He's a goddamn genius, I tell you. He'll be a full-fledged detective one day. See, this is why the police drive around in Fords, not Ferraris.
The alien sapped her free will and scooted her off to the mothership.
Well, that'll look good on the report.
Isn't it convenient how they were hauling her away?
And you know aliens, they can be invisible or A half a dimension off, or disguised as a houseplant?
Or a record specialist.
That's it. Nope.
Yeah, I don't blame you, Sonny. Though this script should go a ways in telling you why you didn't get 100 G's an episode. Meanwhile, back at the ranch...
Guess you just saved that kid a hell of a tip for Christmas.
At least.
Oh, come on, Gina. It's Florida. 50-50 that kid's packing more heat than you. Anyway, with Officer Chris Rock under scrutiny, we have to figure out a way to keep moving on this. How about hypnosis?
I feel good, da, da, so good. I feel good, da, 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 da. Ow! Oh, God. It's them. It's...
Okay, you're safe.
This episode sucks.
You said you saw the houseboat?
I know where it's tied up. It's a little inlet on the bay called Hurricane Hole.
I'm gonna go check it out.
No, you fools! Call literally everyone else in your department. You're gonna need some backup. And sure enough, now we have another body and some spies. Meanwhile, James Brown is meditating on a Naruto curse seal the toughs just happen to find while looking for the source of his strange lights.
I'm here to meet our sponsors. Travis sets them up every weekend in different places.
The government is here to help.
Take me to your leader.
We have explicit orders to maintain the utmost security on this project.
There's got to be better places to test than Dade County.
You're kidding. All the drugs you've got dropping in here were just another blip on the screen.
So what does this man have to do with your operation, huh?
That's what I've been asking this whole episode.
And people are missing. Memories are evaporating. And bodies are disappearing.
All par for the course.
Sure, I'll buy it. The US government has done weirder shit before. Hell, on only 2 bodies and 1 partially fried brain, the experiment can be called a success. What do you think, Officer Chris Rock?
Why'd you call me in here?
Trudy, there's some weird stuff on my computer bulletin board.
Correction, 2 fried brains. What do we even know about this guy?
I didn't get anywhere with the jacket. He's only been on the force for 6 months. He goes to night school at Dade Community College.
Good enough for me, let's get the boat.
Get out of here. Come on.
You know it's bad when the "was it a dream" twist may actually improve the episode. So, additional twist. Yeah, nice try. Nobody's trying to piece this together a la Who Shot JR. As of this writing, Missing Hour sits at a dismal 4.6 on IMDb, making it Vice's worst rated episode and leaving it a full point behind the second worst, a thinly disguised plot for a spin-off. But hear me out. What if we've been wrong about it? All through its run, Miami Vice dished out cautionary tales about drug use, how easy it is to get hooked, how it can ruin lives and relationships, untold deaths at its hands. What could make all of this more real than seeing its effects on one of the team? All of a sudden, all those other crimes our cast was following come to naught, as everyone focuses on their fallen friend. In fact, the situation is so shocking that other people on the team start seeing little green men. It's deep stuff. On a meta level, this even extends to the selection of guest star, as just a couple of years later James Brown's increasing drug problems would land him on hot water with the law. Or it's just a poorly written non sequitur episode whose existence I can only explain with 2 facts. First, the fact that one of the 2 credited writers for it is Anthony Yerkovich, who blessed us with Miami Vice in the first place. The other writer? Hugo Award winner Thomas M. Dish.
I didn't make that up.
And second, Dick Wolf absolutely loved this episode.
Any episodes that stood out in your mind where you had a lot of fun or really proud of the script.
There were ones that I really liked that were kind of aberrant, that went off in different directions, that were unexpected, that were kind of out there. Those were the really fun ones. The James Brown episode with aliens and everything, that got way out there that you couldn't do on any show but Miami Vice.
How's that for a twist ending?
Get up!